an FCC Enforcement Advisory. So apparently this past Sunday, the FCC put out an enforcement advisory, and in bold it says amateur and personal radio services may not be used to commit or facilitate crimes. I didn't think that was the thing, that hams are running around committing crimes with the radios. It goes on this, as a reminder, down here it says specifically that we're prohibited from transmitting communications intended to facilitate a criminal act or message encoding for the purposes of obscuring their meaning. And it talks about likewise individuals operating in a personal radio services, and it mentions specifically CB, FRS, and GMRS. And then it says that, amateur or personal services, individuals use them in this manner will be subject to severe penalties, including significant fines, seizures of the offending equipment, and in some case criminal prosecution. I go back and check my emails, and lo and behold, on Sunday, the ARRL sent me this email. And it talks about the purpose of amateur radio. It says that, it stood for the development of the science and art of communications, public service, enhancement of international goodwill. And the last little blob here, they say that, it's about development of communications, responsible civil service, misuse is inconsistent with the history, the purpose, and the statutory charter. And the ARRL does not support its misuse for purposes inconsistent with these values and purposes. So what does this mean? What's going on that they have to send these memos out and do it on a Sunday? Why are they putting us out? Are hams committing crimes? GMRS users committing crimes with the radios? What facilitated this? Is it the inauguration? Is it did somebody at the Capitol a couple weeks ago see somebody with a HT on their belt and go, ooh, they got communications other than cell phones? I'm not sure what it can do that a cell phone can't, other than circumvent an infrastructure that can be shut off. Or is it the censoring on social media recently that pushed people, tried to push people off of internet communications, and now they're worried that they're picking up some other form of communications that will be a bit harder to control, put the thumb on? I don't know. I mean, what do you think's going on? There's been a pretty big growth in radio services this past year, ever since the lockdown in March and the distancing. This hobby has taken off because it's something that social distancing doesn't really, other than Hamfest, it doesn't really impede the hobby. And it's actually one that you can do all the time and not have to worry about being around people. Anyway, I just think it was kind of odd that this would come out in this timing, and that it would come out at all. I mean, I never thought that we as in radio operators were somehow coordinating criminal activity. I never intended to be in a commentary about stuff, but this is just way off the normal path of what radio communications is all about. And yeah, I mean, maybe some people will use radios illegally. They go to Walmart, pick some up, and go do some activity that's illegal. I mean, it's like saying, hey, if you're going to drink and drive, it is illegal to speed. What do you think? I mean, does this mean that they're going to clean up CB now? Are they going to go out and say, hey, you're pushing 5 watts out at CB, we're going to have to confiscate your equipment? Are they going to see, are they going to watch the language on CB now? Are they going to fine people for, misuse and abuse of CB? I meant to test antennas today, but was too far away from my target and didn't get there. So I ended up having to talk about advisories, enforcement advisories. So, well, that's what it is. It is what it is.